You hear me? Thank you very much. So, economics of innovation for East Jerusalem. We know the situation in East Jerusalem, and we know how the economy is evolving, and we want to add the innovation part in order to evolve the industry and the economics of East Jerusalem. We cannot do it alone because of many factors, such as the human capital, the investment, the money, the minds, the support from the private sector and the government. So we have all these factors that we need to look at in order to bring innovation and to have a real economy, especially in the health sector, that is relying on the innovation. And here I want to mention only two things, actually, that in my opinion will bring innovation: clinical trials and startups and exits. Those are the only two things that I can think of, but this is why we have the great minds with us. I want to introduce Itzik, Fred from Takwin Venture Capital. I will leave it for you. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Takwin.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having us here. It's really a beautiful event and respectable. And Takwin is a venture fund that we started 11 years ago. It originally originated from Erel Margalit from JVP. We have one of his partners here, Hanan, and Chemi Perez from Pitengo. And the key person that started it is Imad Talchami, the founder of Babcom, and I'm the general managing partner of the fund from its foundation. We are already running the second fund of Takwin. We're managing over 100 million shekels, and the purpose of Takwin is to invest in high-tech companies that involve Arab entrepreneurs in Israel, to help the Arab entrepreneurs in their first steps, making investments in the earliest stage possible. We are, as I said, already running the second fund. We were ranked last year by a British magazine that covers early stage fund as one of the best 5 funds in Israel in early stages. And we invested in 15 companies. Most of them are very, very advanced technologies. We are based in Haifa, and naturally, many of our companies are from the Technion, but we also have companies from the Tel Aviv University, one from Jerusalem, a founder from East Jerusalem, which was actually our first investment in a company called Imagery that is now raising money at close to $500 million valuation. And this is us in a nutshell.
Thank you very much. I will move it to Mr. Yaron Lotan. This is yours. From Bird Foundation, one of the anchors for developing the high-tech and the innovation in the Israeli ecosystem. In 1996, I believe, you started. I will leave it for you. Tell us more about it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mahmoud. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for being here. The Bird Foundation is actually around since 1977. So we're going to be celebrating 50 years of existence next year. And it's a binational foundation. It's owned by the governments of Israel and the United States together, where the idea behind it is that cooperation between Israeli and US-based companies can bring benefit to both companies and both ecosystems. So what we do is we fund projects that are submitted by 2 companies. It's always 2 companies that have to submit a project together. And the projects are supposed to be about developing a product, so it has to involve innovation, but with a very strong commercialization focus. So innovation that leads to commercialization. And for those kind of projects, we supply grants of up to $1.5 million per project against a 1-to-1 match, which is also a reason why we are kind of the next stage after the stage in which Takwin is interested, because our companies need to be able to finance their half of the grant. But in almost 50 years, we've funded over 1,200 such projects. We've invested close to $600 million, and we've seen commercial success coming out of these companies, both in terms of sales generated and in terms of partnerships that kept going, got stronger, many times led to acquisitions of one company buying each other. So it's been a very successful and important factor for both economies.
Amazing. Thank you very much. This is the type of cooperation that we're going to discuss also here. I will move to Hani Alami, the guru of entrepreneurship and high-tech for East Jerusalem, actually my first mentor, who actually helped me to come with many ideas in order to support Jerusalem. He's a Jerusalemite, so he's doing many million things in order to support East Jerusalem. Hani, as an entrepreneur, and you're also the founder of Jet Fiber, so bringing the fast internet, and I know what does it mean, fast internet, especially when we were doing that in Ramallah and in Gaza, and how this is affecting the ecosystem and entrepreneurship sector. Hani, who are you? What are you doing for Jerusalem?
Thank you very much.
Tell the people. He's doing much more. I know he's doing much more, actually.
Thank you, Mahmoud. Yes, I'm on the philanthropic side trying much to help the entrepreneur community, especially in East Jerusalem, to stay in the city, fighting the brain drain that we are facing here in the city. And all the time I was working around how to bring more partners. Because tango, you can't do it alone. And ecosystem, you can't create it alone. And I'm very happy to start seeing such a day in a program like this one, in this size, supporting the ecosystem in creating a new movement in Jerusalem. Such a thing we are not used to. And without those activities, we can do things. I remember the days of the chief scientist that, unfortunately, all that period, he didn't spend any shekel in East Jerusalem. Even one shekel, one project, he did not. So happy to see in the new era with the Innovation Authority that, yes, now they are interested, looking for programs, looking for partners, because this is an essential tool to make the change on the ground.
Thank you very much, Hani. I will move to our proud to host also Professor Salim Haj Yahya with us from Hebron. Like, Professor, I know that no matter how much we talk about you, you're even doing more in the medical and education system. Can you hear us? You're on mute, doctor. Okay, so we'll move on until you fix it. That's fine. Is it Jafar? Shall we move on? Okay, thank you. Sorry for that. You know, technology. This is what technology is. Yeah. This is why I use paper, not the iPad.
I learned one rule in life. The more you have technology people in the room, the higher the chances somebody will need to stand on the table and fix the projector. It works, this rule works every time.
Well, this is a good note because I witnessed it several times.
It's an indication to have good technology people here if it doesn't work.
Yeah. So since you have the mic already, let's talk about venture capital and let's talk about East Jerusalem and the gap of knowledge that investors have about undeserved or underserved population like East Jerusalem. Investors don't know the talents that we have. Investors don't know what capacity we can bring into the global economy. How do you think that we can bring the attention of local and international investors in order to invest in startups, entrepreneurs, and even other infrastructure projects in East Jerusalem?
Okay, so it's a hard question. The short answer would be to continue doing what you guys are doing. And I'm serious, somebody once said that the talent is equally distributed, but the opportunities are not. I think that the fact, again, that we have in the third line a senior executive from the Innovation Authority, and Hanan was with me on the stage last time, I think, and he corrected me when I said that Jerusalem does not present opportunities like Tel Aviv does, and it tries to actively correct this. There are some things that are a result of discrimination and underprivilege, and there's no doubt, and there's no need to go around it. The Arabs in Israel are underprivileged, and they're discriminated for many years, and East Jerusalem especially, and we won't get into politics, but despite this horrible government that we currently suffer from, again, without going into politics, the government in the past 20 years in Israel is going towards the right directions in overcompensating in budgets of the Innovation Authority, in grants, in changes of 823, I think is the program, special programs for Arab entrepreneurs. Special, Anya is not here, Anya was the parent of this. And another point is that when Anya was on the stage, she started her introduction by saying something beautiful. She said, it's an exceptional event. It's true, it's an exceptional event for all the right reasons, but it's an exceptional event for all the wrong reasons. These kind of events should not be exceptional. Now, there are no shortcuts in processes, especially processes like this. But I do want to talk about optimism. If I would do statistics of the people that are attending this event, and I will ask each and every one of you to check what is your level of education and what is your parents' level of education, and what you guys are looking at in terms of opportunities now, and what your parents looked in terms. This will show you the progress that you guys made, and also the progress that is going through changes in the Israeli society. I know that these days are very dark and they not feel like we're on the right direction, but if we take a step outside, we are on the right direction. Now I can tell you about the Takwin companies. We only invest in companies that were founded by Arabs. So I can really testify that Arab entrepreneurs, their beginning is much harder. To be an entrepreneur is a torture. To be an Arab entrepreneur is 10 times the torture. But I will say that when we make the investment, our policy is that we give the first opportunity and the first financing and help build the company, promote it, create the networking that is terribly missing among the Arab entrepreneurs. And this is exactly what Mahmoud is so brilliantly doing. But when we invest in the company, we give it money in our plans for 18 months. After 18 months in our work plans as Takwin, the entrepreneurs should be able to raise money from new third party, much stronger, much more professional than us, and much richer. And in our companies, we have investors like Samsung, like Merck, like Continental, like Japanese VC funds. And I can proudly say, as a parent of these companies, I can proudly say that they married with bigger and more talented people than we are. This is the right direction, and the same will happen here, I guarantee you guys. Just give it some time. There are no shortcuts in these processes. Continue doing what you're doing. The exposure, the funding will come. Believe in yourself, don't give up. I think you're creating something beautiful, and you're also creating something very, very, very unique here. It will come.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So this, if I understand you well, you're also offering that we take that step through Takwin. So our next step would be Takwin. Then Takwin will introduce us to the other international fund from Japan, the US, Samsung, and the others, Merck.
I will do it with pride, I will do it with love, and I will tell you one more thing. We know that we are on a mission to build, to help build, we're not building it, we will not take the credit, to help build an Arab ecosystem, and I say, not to build an Arab ecosystem. We do not want a separate ecosystem for the Arabs. Somebody once corrected me when I said in Hebrew, Migzar Aravi, the Arab sector, he said, no, Migzar, it means it's an exceptional. No, use the Arab society as part of the Israeli society. Now, I know that many people are not giving you the right reasons to feel like you're part of the Israeli society, but all of our companies that today employ around 400 or 500 people, all of them are a mixture of Arabs and Jews. And when in our mission as investors, we see hundreds of companies. We saw over 1,500 companies in our existence. We invested only in 15, which is a very low percentage, but this is the right percentage for a VC fund, 1%. But we still help each and every fund, each and every company that steps in our doors, if we can help it. Even sometimes by giving somebody an advice that his idea is not the greatest, is also helping him.
Yes, thank
Her,
you.
of course, I see many women in the crowd, which is also a great thing.
Of course, yeah, we're proud of all the women here in the crowd. Chapeau. So, Dr. Salim, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yes, well, thank you very much for joining us, and we're very glad that you're here with us. I believe you are more famous than me just to introduce you. I will leave the space to you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm sorry, but I can't hear you. I can hear you only from YouTube, but I can't understand a single word through the Teams. I might need to get back to the YouTube. Just ask the question, make your comment, and I will get back to join the Teams. Okay?
Introduction, doctor. Introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Salim Haj Yahya. I'm a heart surgeon by profession. I graduated from the Technion almost 30 years ago, and had my specialty in cardiac surgery in Tel HaShomer. I became a senior heart surgeon at Tel HaShomer in 2002. Then after that, I relocated to the UK. I became a senior researcher at the Imperial College and a senior heart transplant surgeon at the Royal Brompton Harefield Hospital for almost about 4 or 5 years. At that time, I spent a lot of time on medical innovation, in addition to surgical innovation, transplant innovation, such as developing techniques, surgical techniques, introducing biotechnology and its implication in healthcare settings. Also, a lot of joint academic work at the Imperial College. In 2010, I was recruited by the Scottish government to lead the Scottish National Heart Transplant Program. And at that time, that was the beginning of establishing the implant of the first artificial heart, which has been done in Scotland. And that was a technology that it was relatively in its infancy, and we were one of the few surgeons worldwide to have these techniques and expertise. And then I had the privilege of copying this experience in Scotland to almost another 10 countries worldwide and implant the first artificial heart in these countries, including training staff and introducing a new technology, medical technology, to different countries. In 2014, I took the responsibility on establishing the first university teaching hospital in the West Bank and leading the development of the Faculty of Medicine. In the last 5 years, I also took pride in establishing the a faculty of medicine at Hebron University. I operate in Herzliya Medical Center for the last 2-3 years, and I'm professor at Glasgow University. I've been a chair at Bristol University as well. That's my career.
Wow, thank you very, very much. That's very impressive. And if I may add, you also established the new medical school at the Hebron University as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I established the new faculty of medicine at Hebron University, and I'm working very hard also to establish for them a new university teaching hospital. And I've done a lot of hard work in approving the land, a lot of professional work, and when the work has already been completed, and we have donations and funds to build a new university teaching hospital. However, for the last 2 years, our a great friend, Mr. Smotrich, has blocked us on a political veto to not using the land, despite that we have all the approvals, including from the army, to start building a university teaching hospital.
Thank you.
I also are responsible, or I have initiatives in developing hospitals in Israel, and I have a license now from the Ministry of Health to start a new hospital in the Sharon, in Taipei, in the Triangle. And also I'm part of a charity called Jinnovate, who works very hard to serve the Bedouin community in the south and to improve their accessibility to health care services. And lucky enough, 2-3 days ago, we received a successful application for Col Corée لخضرين أخشام for operating theaters, and we will start also a new small hospital, day surgery hospital in the south to serve that community.
Thank you.
So a lot of philanthropic work that I do in the last few years. I would say almost more than 50% of my activity is philanthropic. And part of my deanery as a dean in Glasgow as a professor, or at Najah as a dean, or at Hebron as a dean, I always focused and promoted and encouraged students to engage biotechnology and innovation and startups in medical education.
Thank you.
Because
Actually,
I
this is
feel that's the future of our nation.
amazing.
To ensure that we have the brightest of our students who study medicine normally by default, to ensure that they can combine between biotechnology and developing unique applications that doesn't require a lot of funding in the beginning, at least, doesn't require a sophisticated buildings and incubators, that can start with small. And once they demonstrate a feasible a product or idea, then we can take it, with the help of people like you, to take it to the next level. But that's something that I have been promoting for the last almost a decade or so.
Thank you very much, Professor Haj Yahya. You actually answered my question. I will move on to Yaron. Yaron, you were talking about the matching fund that you're giving to companies. And I see this as a de-risking part for the companies. Instead of the companies invest full amount of money in their project, so you're helping them with that grant that is up to $1.5 million. I see this as a help for preventing the market failure for the companies. What's your model at Bird Foundation? And I need you to link it to the East Jerusalem market and how the East Jerusalem market can benefit or copy or cooperate with you onto that model?
I think at the end of the day, everything we do is about encouraging and stimulating partnerships at any stage of a company's life, but definitely at the early stage of the company life. You talk about market failures. I wouldn't call it failures, but many young companies don't have the bandwidth, the resources, or the awareness to the importance of matching, working together with other companies in general, and definitely when it comes to our model, which is working together with entities in the United States. Specifically, being here today and seeing the amount of discussion and companies in the medical field, as I think you mentioned also in the beginning of your discussion, clinical trials and trying your product, whether it's official clinical trials or other versions of trying your products, are a very critical step of getting a product to market. One of the nice things about BIRD is that we view clinical trials, we view pilots as part of the R&D process. Therefore, we fund projects that are either official clinical trials between Israeli companies and hospitals and medical institutions in the United States, or other versions of pilots of products with entities that would represent the market in the United States. Those are a very, very important tool for companies that are trying to break into the biggest market from their perspective in the United States, and that need to deal with the regulatory challenges that they face. So to that extent, we have not had yet the honor and privilege to have an application from East Jerusalem. We did fund projects from Arab companies in the north in our history. There's absolutely no reason why this shouldn't change. One of the reasons that it was important for me to be here today is to make sure that companies in East Jerusalem are aware of this and would welcome applications like that, especially myself. You mentioned Jerusalem. I was born in this city, and I grew up in this city, not in the east side, but on the west side for many, many years.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, this is much appreciated. Now that you're here and that you also exposed yourself to the talents in East Jerusalem, the talents from Jerusalem know you and hearing you now, I'm sure that they will be following also the BIRD Foundation applications, and we are here to help as Jinnovate. If you need any help in filling the application or any advices, we are always here to support you. Again, my word is free of charge. We don't charge any money for this.
And we have we have a very good detailed website, but we also have a team that not only helps people to apply, but also helps people to find matches in the United States. So my team is split between Israel and the United States, and we work the ecosystems in both countries. And part of what we do is these matchings, is bringing companies together to be able to apply together to a BIRD grant.
That's very, very useful, because finding a matching in the US together to partner with East Jerusalem, I believe that building an ecosystem requires partnership, and no one can make things alone. So we work together, we leverage ourselves together, and this is how we can also leverage the community with all the sectors of the community. Hani, talking about the community building, I want to link it to the policies. Because look, without the government, without regulations, I believe it's challenging. It is challenging to work. So what do you think that would be a one policy or two that you would advise in order to advocate for building that community or that ecosystem that could bring more economic growth to East Jerusalem?
Based on my experience scanning the market and between what been said here with my colleagues and what Itik said regarding those startups, I think what's Jinnovate today and many others should do the same is filling this gap. there is a piece of that chain that is missing. Who's preparing those ideas and those